Welcome back to our channel, where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We are excited to share the following news. Buckingham release a final confirmation over Meghan and Harry's children, shocking everyone. Sources claim that Meghan is terrified as birth records undergo constitutional review. Meanwhile, the palace is initiating the probe. An unprecedented constitutional crisis seems to be unfolding outside the gates of Buckingham Palace. This conflict jeopardizes the tenuous truce between the House of Windsor and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Buckingham Palace is situated in the United Kingdom. In the palace, senior royal aides have allegedly initiated significant internal verification research about the birth papers and official records of Prince Archie and Princess Liat. This information originates from senior palace sources. The investigation, described by insiders as cold, cool, and forensic, targets the fundamental responsibility of the monarchy to maintain the line of succession. Although Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have built a new life in Montecito over the last 5 years, insiders indicate that this recent development has left the Duchess extremely scared. She fears that the probe may jeopardize the validity of her children's royal title and dismantle the empire she has meticulously built since departing from the United Kingdom. This issue transcends mere familial discord or media sensationalism. Experts in constitutional law say that it is a matter of state. The questions raised inside the palace pertain not only to breaches of protocol or documentation, but more to issues of genealogy, legitimacy, and the criteria that the British monarchy must satisfy to endure. A request for ambiguity from the monarchy. To grasp the gravity of the situation, one must understand the structure of the organization. The British monarchy, an ancient institution, sustains its existence by the preservation of continuity and unwavering certainty. The elimination of titles, the reallocation of patronages, and the rescission of workplace duties are all potential actions. Conversely, the Crown cannot endure any ambiguity on the bloodline in the face of threats. A prominent royal historian observes that the Crown abhors uncertainty. Regarding lineage, it is mostly preoccupied with doubt rather than scandal. The whole organization trembles with apprehension at the smallest ambiguity over the legitimate line of succession. The line must be unequivocal in all respects. According to several sources, the examination, officially termed a verification review, was not initiated by one noteworthy event, but rather by a continuous accumulation of discrepancies. Senior advisors have started a thorough examination of the births of Archie and Lilith to confirm their compliance with the rigorous constitutional criteria required for those in the line of succession to the throne. The public has the right to be informed that there is no individual in the line of succession who poses legal issues, and the review operates on a clear and rigorous foundation. A critic said succinctly, "Meghan and Harry lack the right to privacy about this matter. The constitutional need of proving lineage supersedes the right to privacy. A pattern emerges from the Archie anomalies. The date and evidence of the birth of the couple's first child, Prince Archie, have seemingly been the central focus of the investigation. Since antiquity, royal births have been executed according to a rigorous military standard protocol designed to provide an unassailable chain of evidence. This includes a notice displayed on an easel at Buckingham Palace, official medical statements endorsed by royal physicians, verified birth witnesses, and a regulated photographic opportunity. The ceremony, originating in 1837, functions not just as a display of grandeur, but also as a legal assurance. This vetting process was disrupted when Archie became involved. As the review has shown, the birth certificate is the first source of contention in their connection. For most homes, acquiring a birth certificate is really a formality, a constitutional instrument related to the royal family. Reports indicate that authorities are examining the remarkable alteration made to Archie's birth certificate many months post-submission. On May 6, 2019, Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, was expuned from the record, replaced only with her title, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. This alteration was executed discreetly. A source from the palace said such an edit is almost unprecedented in royal administration. A request for change must be submitted by a person who must also offer their consent and a justification. The justifications provided at that time were contradictory. Meghan's team said that the modification was mandated by the palace, whilst palace officials claimed that the Sussexes were responsible for initiating the change. A consistent narrative is absent, and more critically, there is no definitive documentation elucidating the rationale for the amendment of a legal text deemed fundamental. Furthermore, the cross-referencing of Archie's records with the California Birth Index has shown other discrepancies in the entry and documentation of information. The tendency of subtle irregularities, including absent data and procedural discrepancies, has established a worrisome pattern that the palace can no longer overlook. The approach of secrecy is ineffective. In addition to the documents, the research is also examining the events that transpired on May 6, 2019. Unlike the births of Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, which were marked by transparency, the arrival of Archie was shrouded in secrecy. In a break from tradition, the Sussexes opted to conceal the birth of their kid. Almost 8 hours, a news statement announced that the Duchess of Cambridge had entered labor some hours after the baby had likely been born, exacerbating the existing ambiguity. A critic of the royal family noted that the announcement of her labor was made after the baby had seemingly already been born. What is the objective of deliberately deceiving the public and the media? Both trust and credibility were adversely affected as a consequence. Individuals started to speculate, what are they attempting to hide? The couple did not reveal Archie to the public on the hospital steps, accompanied by medical personnel. Instead, they had a staged presentation at Windsor a few days after the hospital's announcement. Both contemporaneous witnesses and current investigators have noted the absence of independent verification. Regarding the birthplace, there were many tales oscillating between the Portland hospital and speculation of a home birth before reverting once again. No doctors were present to officially endorse the event, nor was there a conventional easel displaying medical signatures. An insider said that the assessment is exposing vulnerabilities inside the system. No witnesses were there, no hospital confirmations existed, and there was ambiguity over the medical personnel who were really present. Although it is premature to definitively claim a legal infraction, it undeniably prompts inquiries about the adherence to the royal criteria requisite for a future monarch. The question regarding surrogacy, one of the most combustible aspects of probe, is the delicate and contentious subject of surrogacy, which is part of the investigation. For a considerable amount of time, there have been speculations circulating in the most obscure part of the internet about the nature of Meghan's pregnancy. These issues are reportedly being raised at the highest echelons of the monarchy at the present time, according to sources. According to reports, the study is looking at visual evidence from Meghan's public appearances when she was pregnant with Archie, in order to investigate what some observers have referred to as physical discrepancies. Investigators are now compiling an assortment of images and video evidence. The bumps seem to alter size drastically between appearances, one insider said, echoing the conjecture that was taking place online. During the course of her pregnancy, there were times when the physical dynamics of her pregnancy seemed to be incompatible with the standards of medical practice. Despite the fact that the palace does not endorse conspiracy theories, they are compelled to ensure that the evidence that is necessary to demonstrate that a natural delivery took place in accordance with royal medical requirements is available. For a child to be considered for inclusion in the line of succession, it is necessary for the kid to be born of the body of the royal's wife, as stipulated by the statutes that now govern the British monarchy. Furthermore, even if they are genetically linked to their parents' children who are born via surrogacy, are not now included in the line of succession, and are not able to receive titles, there would be disastrous constitutional repercussions for the Sussexes in the event that the palace is unable to locate conclusive medical evidence that Meghan carried and delivered the children herself. There is a constitutional black hole, and it is the Lyot mystery. In the event that Archie's chronology is considered to be irregular, the palace considered the circumstances surrounding the birth of Princess Lyot in California to be a constitutional black hole. The Sussexes' communication staff in California was the only source of information about Lilith's arrival. There were no medical professionals from the United Kingdom, no members of the royal medical team, and no formal confirmation from the physicians for the royal household. According to the explanation of a legal specialist, this would be considered typical for any other celebrity. However, for a kid who is constitutionally a princess of the United Kingdom and is in the line of succession, this situation represents a total departure from the procedure that has been in place for hundreds of years. The statement never explicitly stated that Meghan physically gave birth, which is a nuance that has not escaped the attention of royal lawyers. According to reports, investigators are alarmed by the specific language that was used in the birth announcement. Legal experts suggest that the statement was crafted to provide plausible deniability. The fact that the obstetrician who allegedly delivered Lyot closed her practice barely 2 weeks after the birth, leaving no forwarding information, is another aspect that has contributed to the opaque nature of the matter. The christening that did not take place regarding Lyot's baptism. The inquiry has reached a state of heightened intensity. A royal christening is more than just a religious service in the Church of England. It is also a constitutional act that legally binds the infant to the state church and monarchy. Both of these things are considered to be important. Witnesses, certifications, and entries in the official church registers are required for these ceremonies to take place. On the other hand, when palace advisors sought to authenticate Lyot's baptism documents inside the archives of the Church of England, they apparently discovered nothing. The insider disclosed that there is no entry, no signature, and no recognition from the office of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Therefore, from the perspective of the institution, Lyot's royal relationship is incomplete since she does not possess that document. Her royal titles are based on the fact that she is a child living in California, but there is no constitutional basis to maintain them. According to reports, the lack of spiritual and legal verification was the final straw that prompted Buckingham Palace to compile a comprehensive internal case file. The letters patent of 1917, the legal weapon or instrument. Letters patent, which were granted by King George the Thief in 1917, serve as the basis for this research, although it is often invoked in discussions about who is eligible to be a prince or princess. The document also includes the fundamental principles that underpin the legitimacy of royal positions. In order for a kid to be acknowledged by the crown, they must fulfill the following 3 particular criteria. 1. The documented lineage may be verified by official documents that have not been sealed. 2. Witnesses are required for the verification of birth, which involves following approved royal medical protocols. 3. The ceremonies that are carried out in accordance with the authority of the Church of England are known as religious confirmation. An expert on constitutional law said that the monarchy is ready to be flexible on a variety of issues, including working arrangements, patronage, and even residence rules. However, they are unable to be flexible with regard to the verification of ancestry. It is the one cornerstone of the organization over which there is no room for negotiation. Because of Archie and Lilith, an excessive amount of things have taken place outside of this certified system. It is possible that the Crown is legally unable to attest for the children's status due to the fact that foreign births that have occurred without royal inspection, timings that have not been validated, and the absence of religious documents have arisen. Panic strikes in Montecito. Across the ocean, the atmosphere inside the estate that the Sussexes have in Montecito has been characterized as suffocating. According to sources who are close to the couple, Meghan is well aware of the ramifications that this review may have. According to a source, Meghan is in a state of paralysis. It is the fact that she is a mother to royal children that underpins her whole post-royal identity, as well as the financial sustainability of her brand. The arrangements with Netflix, the books, and the lifestyle companies are all examples of businesses that capitalize on the royal aura. If the palace raises questions about the validity of her children, then that mystique will become less significant. The predicament is one of existential crisis for Prince Harry. According to reports, he is having a difficult time comprehending the possibility that his own offspring may be left out of the historical records since he was raised in a society in which lineage is the most important thing. It has been reported by sources that Harry has been making earnest calls to top members of the royal family, appealing for clarity, but he has been greeted with a wall of silence. The question, "How can they do this to my children?" is one that Harry is constantly asking. This is what the insider stated. However, he is missing the point entirely. The Crown is not taking this action against anybody. They are ensuring that the institution maintains its reputation for honesty. When it comes to matters of law, feelings are meaningless when the Crown invades territory. A look at the three potential outcomes. The timeline wall at Buckingham Palace is gathering more and more information, and constitutional experts have described three different scenarios that may occur for the children of the Sussex family. The first choice is the royal freeze. There is the possibility that the palace may stop formally recognizing the children's titles or stop updating them. The website would continue to feature Archie and Lilith, but they would be essentially frozen out of any and all future royal acknowledgement ceremonies and official history. This provides a route of least resistance, allowing one to avoid making a public proclamation while simultaneously neutralizing the status of the children. Option 2. Reclassification as the citizens of the private sector. According to this hypothetical situation, the palace would reclassify the youngsters as private people within its own ranks. According to the documents, they would be considered descendants of the Duke of Sussex, but they would not have any constitutional status. Not only would this be a modest administrative adjustment, but it would also disassociate the monarchy from the concerns of legitimacy without producing a worldwide spectacle. Option 3. Removing from succession via formal procedure. The nuclear option stipulates that the Crown has the legal ability to legally remove the children from the line of succession in the event that the paperwork does not match the criteria of the letters patent from 1917. If there is a real question about whether the children fit the specified standards, the Crown is arguably required to take action, said a legal researcher. In the event that a hypothetical future conflict over the throne arises, they must allow it to fester. The decision is upcoming. The stakes are becoming higher and higher as the inquiry continues to delve deeper. Because Meghan and Harry choose to value seclusion and break with convention, it is possible that they have accidentally put their children in a constitutional limbo without their knowledge. It is possible that they have lost the safeguards that the institution offers because they have refused to play by the rules that the institution has established. The royal commentator came to the conclusion that the sadness is that even though they were attempting to protect their children, they may have exposed them to a lifetime of inquiries. Due to the fact that their parents did not adhere to the regular verification processes, it is possible that Archie and Lilith will have to cope with rumors and conjecture regarding their authenticity. For a number of decades, always the Crown is able to endure. The survival of the institution is higher on the priority list than the sentiments of individual people. The hush emanating from the palace is deafening as the case file continues to expand in London. For the Sussexes, this silence may be the most dreadful sound of all considerations regarding the constitutional implications of the invisible royal children with regard to legal affairs desk. By the way, the scenario that is now developing with respect to the children of the Sussex family brings to light a conflict between contemporary wishes for privacy and traditional constitutional norms. In addition to being a family, the British monarchy is also a company that represents the state. The organization, which is often referred to as the firm, is dependent on a legal structure that mandates openness in return for status. Historically, the Home Secretary was required to be present at royal births in order to prevent the warming pan scandal. This scandal was a reference to the rumor that James Roman II's son was a changeling that was smuggled into the birthing chamber in a warming pan. The 1917 letters patent and subsequent acts of Parliament regarding succession are based on the concept of the witnessed birth. George VI did away with the necessity that royal doctors certify the birth, but he did not do away with the attendance of the Home Secretary. The purpose of this medical verification is to take the place of the traditional role of the state witness. It was the absence of a signature from a royal doctor on the public announcement that caused the first fracture in the legal armor to appear in the case of Prince Archie. The secrecy that surrounded his birth at the Portland Hospital was directly responsible for this, due to the fact that Princess Leolette was born in a foreign jurisdiction, California, without any representatives of the royal family present. The legal chain of custody of the royal person has been effectively fractured. The influence of the Church of England. It would be impossible to overestimate the significance of the Church of England. It is the monarch who serves as the highest authority in the Church. Protestants who are in fellowship with the Church of England are the only people who may be in the line of succession. As a result, a baptism or christening is not only a religious ceremony, rather, it is a screening procedure. Because of this, the christening of Princess Leolette at an Episcopal ceremony in California, which is a sister church to the Church of England is not only legally recognized, but also legally recognized as a unique administrative practice. She is missing the canonical paperwork that has been accompanying every other heir for generations, since she does not have the seal of the Archbishop of Canterbury or an entry into the register of the Royal Chapel. The clause known as the body of the wife, without a doubt. Surrogacy matter continues to be the most delicate legal obstacle. The lady who gives birth is considered to be the legal mother in the United Kingdom. It is necessary for the kid to be born of body of the title holder's wife in order to meet the requirements for hereditary titles and succession. In accordance with the regulations that are now in place, a child who was born via the use of a surrogate would not be eligible for the line of succession, even if the biological material of the child belonged to Princess Meghan and Prince Harry. There have been instances in the past when this antiquated regulation has had an impact on aristocratic families, most notably the Marchioness of Bath. The inquiry being conducted by the palace is most likely focused on generating conclusive evidence to rebut the rumors that are circulating. It is possible that the legal staff at the palace would advise that the children's position in the succession cannot be legally guaranteed if Meghan and Harry are unable to present medical documents that satisfy the doctors of the crown or decide not to give such information. This would put the monarch in an untenable position. Either they would have to accept the children on faith and run the danger of a future constitutional challenge, or they would have to implement the legislation to the letter and run the risk of a lasting breach with the Sussexes, the impact of the brand, the reasons why Meghan is terrified thanks to the entertainment and branding desk. The fact that Meghan Markle is reportedly terrified by the probe is indicative of the tenuous nature of the Sussex brand. Since the pair left the United Kingdom in 2020, they have managed to earn lucrative contracts by using their royal status. According to Sarah O'Connell, a brand expert, the value proposition of Harry and Meghan is absolutely predicated on their closeness to the crown if they want to be successful. In other words, they are offering a look into the realm of royalty. There is a delegitimization of their children. If the palace makes an official inquiry into the status of their children, it transforms them from exiled royals into celebrities with dubious claims, which is a significant change. The notion of royal elegance is essential to the debut of Meghan's new lifestyle company, American Riviera Orchard, which is a lifestyle enterprise. A constitutional examination that calls into question the birth certificates of her children brings up a sleazy aspect of controversy that is in direct opposition to the high-end image that she is working to cultivate for herself. In addition, Archie and Lyot had to work very hard to earn the titles of prince and princess by themselves. It was not until after King Charles Roman III had ascended the throne that the children were named after him formally. The public humiliation that would result from having such titles frozen or questioned at this time would be embarrassing. In addition, O'Connell says it is about legacy. Meghan has a dream of her children being members of the American royal family. However, if the genuine British monarchy tells you that you do not have the necessary documents, then you cannot be considered American royalty. Is it possible that they may have caused their own crisis? There is still the issue of whether or not this might have been averted even while the palace conducts its systematic and quiet internal examination. Those who are critical of the Sussexes contend that their preoccupation with controlling the narrative is what led to the vacuum that has allowed these issues to emerge. Through their refusal to accept the goldfish bowl of royal life, they eliminated the transparency that serves to safeguard royal position. When asked about protocol, a royal insider said protocol is unpleasant, but it is protecting. It shields the royal family from making accusations. This safeguards the bloodline from any uncertainty. After throwing aside the shield of formality, Harry and Meghan are suddenly astonished that the arrows are heading in their direction. A bloodless battle of attrition is expected to take place during the next several months. It is expected that the Sussexes would claim privacy as their reason for the palace's demand for documents. When a media brand from California goes up against an institution that has been there for 1,000 years, history shows that the institution is more likely to emerge victorious. For the time being, the dossier on the children of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is still open on a desk in London. It contains a collection of dates, papers, and uncertainties that have the potential to alter the destiny of the monarchy forever. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and say goodbye.